good, Professor. How are you today?
I'm sipping an espresso. I need the energy and celebrating the Thanksgiving holiday today.
Oh, lovely, lovely. And pray tell, how exactly shall you do this?
Well, I was reading an article this morning. As you know, my passion is argumentation, disputation, ideas, and the words to formulate those ideas.
Oh, you argue? Never.
Right. And I know that that's why all of our fans have tuned in. I think we have over 28,000 downloads right now.
Oh, well, thank you very much, everyone, for listening to us.
Liking, sharing.
We'd really appreciate it. If you go the extra mile and become a monthly donor, we'd be very
Yeah,
thankful.
yeah.
And if you can't do monthly, then just a one time, be really appreciated. Yeah, give it a Thanksgiving bonus.
Right, and this
Really
is the YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel where all of our podcasts are located,
Yes.
and make sure to subscribe to that because we're doing well. Anyway,
And
so
follow, like, and
Thanksgiving,
share.
Thanksgiving. I have certain traditions in Thanksgiving. I'm sure you do, being an Armenian and a Christian.
It's an American holiday, you know.
In America, it's my favorite holiday. It's my favorite
Is it
holiday.
really?
Yeah, it's my favorite holiday, and it's my favorite holiday because, first of all, there's no funny hat. You don't have to wear a funny hat, and you don't have to give gifts. You don't have to commercialize it. It's really for family, for faith, and for freedom. And this is what Senator Cotton said on the floor of the Senate just yesterday when he was talking about the importance of Thanksgiving and the fact that he thought that because of the left, the extreme left of the Democrat Party, that within 100 years, Thanksgiving will no longer be celebrated. And I wanted to get your view on that, since you will be alive in 100 years, and I will not be.
Well, first of all, that's wishful thinking. Secondly, that's stupid. Not necessarily in that order.
What's stupid? What's stupid?
Yes, the idea, like, no. Thanksgiving it's here to stay, and I mean, all this leftist culture war. The whole thing about the culture war is that the left they have already lost.
No,
They
they've
cannot
won. They've won the culture war.
garbage. Absolutely false. False. They cannot self-perpetuate nonsense because reality is hitting
Yes, they
them
can.
hard.
Most
No,
of
they
the
can't.
population is stupid. That's
No,
how
they
they
can't.
can great nonsense.
But you know what? Doesn't matter how stupid you are, you can't argue with reality. Period.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
there are
No,
people
you
who look at
can't.
their
You
junk.
okay?
There are people
You
who look at
can,
their junk and say,
but
that's
you will
not
lose. You will lose because you know what? Reality gets the final say. Doesn't matter what you believe. Reality gets the final say. That's
Yeah.
exactly what's happening. And the fact of the matter is, you just cannot. I mean, I bet you Ilhan Omar is, for the holiday, the 26th of November of 2020, will spend, Thanksgiving with her family, and her two other husbands, and she will have one of her husbands, and she will celebrate it in a sense.
Isn't
There
one
will
of her
be
husbands her brother? Wasn't one of them?
long story. We don't have to get in there today, but nevertheless, even the left, they can't break up the family. They're trying so hard, but they cannot do it.
Yes, they
Is it-
can. Yeah,
No,
done
they
a good
can't.
job of
They
it.
they know they can't. They can pretend to normalize it,
Mhm.
but it's just not happening. It's not self functioning.
Well,
It's a house of cards.
Senator Cotton's speech focused on the fact that here's what Omar and the other communists in the Congress, this is what they hate, and this is why they hate Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is the only holiday that we celebrate family, faith, and freedom.
Mhm. Well, I mean, like, uh, to a certain extent. I mean, if you look at the history of Thanksgiving, like, not just the Pilgrims, but why it was instituted and how it's historically been celebrated. Yes, you're right. How it is today, though, it's a nice dinner before the football game. That's typically how it's been celebrated.
Mhm.
Um, and at the same time, I think that because of the coronavirus, because of the massive changes since 2020, there is an understanding that there's something missing. That quick TV dinner and football game is just not filling in that void.
Mhm.
And the coronavirus has exposed that void.
So you really
This
think that
void
people
of
are looking for
that's not
something? You really believe that people are looking something profound in Thanksgiving beyond an excuse to not go to work and to gorge themselves at table and then to eat turkey sandwiches for the rest of the week. You think that's really that they're
Well,
really looking for
well,
something
you have
profound in it?
no, not let's see. There's two kinds of families. There's those that respect. Like if you go look at my family, Thanksgiving. I mean, maybe we'll invite a couple friends over. Usually, but more or less, it's like any other family dinner.
Hmm.
I mean, pretty much it's like any other family, except there's a turkey.
Yeah, but
Like
does your family go to church on Thanksgiving?
no,
No,
I've never heard of that. That's a new
really.
thing for me.
In
No,
the
no.
Catholic experience, in my experience, oh yeah, it wasn't a holy day of obligation, but you would not miss mass and communion on Thanksgiving Day. Oh, culturally it was unheard of, unheard of.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a new one for. Well, I mean, there's like Thanksgiving services, but usually it's like the day before, usually not the day of, or maybe there's like a lunch or something. Like not even. It's not terribly common, I'd
Well,
say.
on Christmas you certainly go to church on the day of Christmas, right?
No,
What?
you didn't know that?
No, the Armenians don't do that.
Oh, the Armenians do, but they do it on January 6th. On the real day of Christmas. But that's another. Stop distracting me from what I'm trying. I'm trying to make a profound point here. There's two kinds of families. There's my family, which essentially would have Thanksgiving dinner every meal. And then there's most families, which this is the exception, not the norm, where they'd all gather together. And they'll have a big fight, usually about politics or something stupid or some family history, and then they'll remember why they don't make this normal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that for my family, Thanksgiving, it's I mean, turkey is a big deal. Like, trust me, devouring turkey is like a special thing in our household. But that it's just so normal that it's almost like we're putting a special bow on a normal day.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, Thanksgiving's either my second. It's in my top 3 favorite holidays. Don't get me wrong, I really love Thanksgiving, mostly because there is a universal declaration of what this day is supposed to be set aside for.
Mm-hmm.
And we can get into the history, the pilgrims, the religious freedom aspects, the family aspects. All that's fine and good. But I really want to talk about how it also exposes what we're uncomfortable with. And very often we're uncomfortable with our families. We're uncomfortable with being, together.
Absolutely.
And I think this is part of why I think the left can never win. Mm-hmm. The last mountain they have to conquer, as far as conquering institutions, which is the family. Mm-hmm. They can't conquer it because Americans know that they suck at building families. Americans know there's something wrong with them. And that's the last thing anyone wants to admit, that your family is broken. And the fact is, all families are broken. Mm-hmm. All of them are.
But, I remember in my experience as a child celebrating Thanksgiving, it was always a mixed, sort of serendipitous holiday, because while on the one hand we had great festivities of preparing food and consuming the food, nevertheless there was also a lot of drinking going on and a lot of dredging up of old family squabbles, and usually somebody would leave quite mad and quite upset,
offended, or
yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see this year whether or not the COVID-19 lockdown, the stay in your home, the curfew, whether or not that's going to have fewer fistfights and fewer assaults and people being arrested as the result of attending a Thanksgiving dinner, at least in Boston. At least in Boston.
Right.
For Irish Catholics. That's
well, I mean, if all the, if everyone just but I mean, to my point, I think that's what makes people dislike Thanksgiving. It's not because it has a culture of genocide. That's just garbage, and that's just lies. Even by any stretch of the imagination, that's a lie. I think people don't like Thanksgiving because it exposes what they don't have, and that's thankfulness. People aren't thankful for a functioning family. Sometimes they don't have a functioning family, but they don't know exactly what that even looks like, because there's so few maybe there's some like on TV, but not really. I mean, even on TV, they don't really show functional families
You,
anymore.
in your family celebrations of Thanksgiving, do you go around the table and ask each of the participants what they're thankful for?
Oh, of course, every year.
Oh, you
Absolutely.
do. Oh, okay, nice.
Absolutely.
So that's a
Yeah.
tradition that people do. I know that we did that in our house, uh,
Yeah.
and a lot of my friends would do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
Have you begun to change the list of things that you're thankful for over the years? I
no,
have. I certainly have.
I've stayed pretty consistent, I would say. I mean, I really am thankful. I mean, there's always the current situation, whatever is, changing. I'm always thankful for this, that, the other thing.
Mhm.
But I mean, the real key to having a good Thanksgiving is practicing it all year round. I think that's my real point, is that the reason why so many people don't care or apathetic towards Thanksgiving is because they don't celebrate it. The only difference is that this time we do it with turkey and stuffing. Like that should really be the only difference. We should always be close with our families. We should always be expressing our gratitude and our thankfulness.
Well, I agree with you. And speaking of stuffing, actually, today I am doing two things. I'm baking all day today. I'm making my Cumberland sauce, my own version of cranberry sauce. And I'm also doing my 6-meat meatloaf. And I'm going to give your parents and your family a meatloaf.
Oh, oh,
I'll make one for you when you come home for Christmas. How's that?
I'm hungry already. I'm salivating right now.
6 meats, 6. Okay.
Yeah. Don't tell me too much. Don't tell me too much. I'm already getting hungry.
Anyway, happy Thanksgiving to all of our listeners, our fans, and happy Thanksgiving to you, Alex.
Absolutely.
So, bye-bye.
Take care.